People, stars ENT again. You see me? Hit the like button, the people. The like button there, it help with the YouTube algorithm. So you know have to pay nothing for like the video. So just like up the video, people. Subscribe same way. And tell a friend for tell a friend. Comment, you understand, on the topic. Now you see the topic. Vybz Kartel. You don't know Lisa Evers come and talk up some things. You see me? On Jaradio. You understand? So we want to get an opinion on it if we not hear it. You understand? We have the clip right here, so we play for you. You understand? Big up Jaradio for the interview. You see me? Yeah man, Shaq and Wiz. Big up on yourself.
Just call real quick, yo, cause Fox I do some Fox I do a excellent job. You know what I mean? Quick call. You don't know it's a Jerry that thing, Lord. You know what I mean? Not a vlogger can't do them something there.
Hey, Wiz.
Hello, good night.
Good evening. Lisa Evers here.
Chat room, you heard? Chat room. Entire everybody in Jamaica right now, stand up. We definitely have to big up Lisa Evers right now. Lisa, good. Oh, yes, a good evening. Good night.
Well, good night. I know you say good night. We say good night when it's like the end of the night and that's it here in the States.
Yeah, in Jamaica.
I'll adopt the Jamaican style.
Yeah, Jamaica once it start get dark, you know what I mean? Good night. But definitely, Lisa, we have to definitely commend you, even myself, because the coverage, excellent. The entire Gaza nation definitely owe you a debt of gratitude. Like the headlines, the respect that you show Vybz Kartel. Explain that to me.
Well, Wiz, I've been following the case for about the last 2.5 years. And I noticed some articles that were coming out in the Jamaican press. And also with like a lot of the court systems were opening up. I saw that he had a new attorney, Isaac Buchanan, who he'd been working with, who was different from the one that I had previously contacted when I'd done the other reports. And I spoke to Mr. Buchanan and I said, these sound like very significant developments in his fight for his freedom.
Facts.
And so, yes, and he explained them to me because I cover a lot of trials in the judicial system here in the United States, but it's different in Jamaica because it's under the whole UK system.
Right.
So he explained to me that basically what had happened was that, this issue of the phone that was used in the trial where Vybz Kartel was convicted of murder, along with the other three of the other co-defendants, the phone has been an issue since the very beginning. So what Mr. Buchanan said he did, he requested a digital phone expert from Great Britain who was sworn to follow the rules of the court and to inspect the phone. They flew him to Jamaica from London. He inspected the phone evidence, and apparently this was, if you can believe this now, remember, the trial was in 2014, the longest trial up until that point that had ever happened in Jamaica. This was the first time that anybody of any independent nature whatsoever, even though he was invited in by the defense, had access to what was actually on that phone. And Mr. Buchanan said that there was evidence that the phone had been tampered with. So I said, well, does that mean what I think it means? And he said, what are you, explain yourself, because he's extremely thorough. And we talked for a very long time so that I made sure that I was representing the information and also the progress and not overstating anything, because so many people have such strong feelings and support for Vybz Kartel that I wanted to make sure that I was reporting accurately exactly what he said. So I said, Mr. Buchanan, does that mean if this phone evidence is proven in court to be false, to be fake, to have been tampered with, and it's recognized, I said, what does that mean? He said, that means that the entire conviction can be thrown out.
Damn.
So this, yes.
Wow.
So what's happening now? Yes, it's very powerful. This is not some fan wishful thinking. This is not of Mr. Kartel's supporters. This is basically the actual legal facts from his attorney. And he said to me, he goes, Lisa, I have to be very careful what I'm saying to you. And I said, well, I want to be very careful about how I report it because this is very serious. So he said within the next 2 weeks, he is filing what's called a fresh evidence application, meaning that after all of these years and the convictions, and Vybz Kartel being in prison behind bars for 10 years, never having been offered bail. He is filing with the Privy Council, which, as he explained to me, is equivalent to the Supreme Court in the United States. In other words, it's the final word.
Right.
So the Privy Council is in London. So he is filing this application, this fresh evidence application to the Privy Council within the next 2 weeks, basically saying, we have fresh evidence here that shows the phone was tampered with. This was a key piece of evidence that was used to convict Vybz Kartel, Mr. Palmer, as he refers to him by his legal name, Mr. Palmer, and his co-defendants. So he said that he's confident. And I said, well, how long does that take? Are we talking about another one of these legal proceedings that go on for years and years and years? He said, no. He goes, usually the proceeding, the decision would be made within several months. Now they can decide we're not going to change what happened in Jamaica, or they can come out and say this evidence was falsified, that Vybz Kartel's constitutional rights were denied him as a citizen, that Vybz Kartel's humanitarian considerations have been denied, and that there were these other human rights violations that Mr. Buchanan said had already taken place. But he said the piece that was allowing them to take it to this, to the Privy Council in London was based on this expert that they flew in to have actually look at the phone, because apparently throughout all of this, Vybz Kartel's team had never been able to get their hands on what was actually going on. And he said there were quite a few suspect issues surrounding that phone.
All right, so Lisa, both you and I, we aren't attorneys or anything, but definitely, how does this entire case look to you, coming from a first world country where you've actually seen and heard other cases? How does this actually look? Because to me...
Well...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, Wiz, I want to hear what you have to say. Please, I'm sorry.
No, because to me, in Jamaica, everybody can actually just look at this. You don't even have to be trained to be a lawyer or anything to just know that this requires dismissal. How does this look to you coming from a first world country where they actually follow protocols more?
Well, I think that you actually, I don't want to cast any aspersions on the judicial system in Jamaica, but
right.
in terms of what has happened is, understand that this digital expert, this was not somebody local. This was not somebody who is tied in with the establishment in Jamaica. This was a British digital expert who is a highly trained person in this whole area. And the phone we're talking about, understand also, which I found out from Mr. Buchanan, it's a BlackBerry Torch. And those phones, which is an old model, but those old BlackBerry models, they had what's called a SIM card, which a lot of the phones don't use now. They had a SIM card. So basically you could take a phone, put a SIM card in, that would load up whatever is on that SIM card. So whether it's messages, whether it's text messages, whether it's whatever, phone call, numbers that were dialed by a phone, that phone may have not actually been used in the way that it may have been represented, depending upon the SIM card. I don't know if that's the case here, but there's a lot of room for questions. So to answer your question, I feel that if the evidence is as strong as Mr. Buchanan thinks it is, and told me that he feels that it is, because of the qualifications of this digital expert and the fact that he was sworn to the court to verify, he was basically sworn to tell the whole truth about this digital evidence that he found. He concluded it was tampered with. Now, the extent to, yes. So that's a pretty big breakthrough from everything I've been able to read and learn about the case. And then, so I said to Mr. Buchanan, what does that mean? He goes, this means that now if the Privy Council determines that they agree with that digital expert and this fresh evidence, and that the conviction was based on falsified evidence, they have the option to throw out I'm not using the legal term obviously, but to throw out the conviction. And I said, well, you mean they just throw out the conviction and Vybz Kartel walks out of Horizon Prison where he is now, a free man. And he said, yes. He goes, that's our best case scenario. That's what we are hoping for. And Mr. Buchanan said, I am confident that if they look at the evidence that is there in front of them and give their opinion on it based on the facts, that he will be vindicated. So that's a pretty powerful statement for any lawyer to make.
It's definitely powerful. Just to show that dismissal is actually a real possibility. It doesn't even have to take another 2 years, 3 years. That is actually really good news for the Gaza Nation, for Vybz Kartel and his family. Definitely.
It's concrete. It's not. This is not. We're waiting to see whether or not they would get an appeal. And he said the Jamaican court. He said the court system in Jamaica, they were given the green light basically to make this appeal, this final appeal. And so I think it's very substantial. It's a very substantial development, which is why I spoke to my news director, who is one that basically introduced me to you, Wiz, and also to the wonders of dance hall and the culture, and really schooled me on the culture. Byron Harmon, from Fox 5, our vice president for news, executive vice president for news at Fox 5 in New York. And I said, listen, there's some significant developments here. And he said, go for it. He said, let's put this on. He goes, this is very important. And that's what we did.
And Lisa, honestly, like I said it before, but definitely, I have to applaud you and for the ongoing coverage. You've actually, a lot of news outlets actually abandoned this case, but you guys at Fox 5 been pressing on, been providing the exclusive. Definitely, and we have to just say, hats off to you and the entire team.
Well, thank you very much, Wiz. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I don't want to hold you too long. I know it's late. You just answered the phone call out of respect. But definitely, people,
of course.
You guys need to know where to get the exclusive. Fox 5 NY. You know what I mean? Stick and stay. That's where you're going to get all the breaking news. Lisa, we appreciate you taking the time out. I know you had a long day.
Thank you very much, Wiz. Thank you very much. And people can follow me on Instagram at Lisa Evers Verified with the blue check, and Twitter with the blue check.
Yeah.
I post the links there and all of that with the latest. But Wiz, let me tell you something. There is I'm going to continue on this. I'm going to be following this now, especially now as it goes into this very important and very critical phase. I mean, this is like gambling the house. You know, this is a very high stakes gamble.
I agree.
And we'll see what happens. We hope that the game is played fairly and by the rules, and let the facts speak for themselves.
Well said, Lisa. Well said. I appreciate you taking the time out to bless the show. Everyone watching right now, definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, you're blessing me. Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone listening and watching.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right, Wiz.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Yes, so people, there it is. You understand? You hear about the shaky phone evidence that them have, and some more new evidence with a lawyer have. You understand? So we all just hope for the best. You see me? The one thing we're glad for, so the Jamaican court system not involved in other one. You understand? Them can't do nothing about that one. That one stands with the Privy Council alone. You see me? Yes, sir. We're glad for that. You understand? Yes, sir. All we have to do now, I just hope for the best. You see me? Pray say teacher forward the road back in 2022. You understand? About 11 year or 12 year now. The dog no see all the mute them for. You see me, so just have to pray for your teacher same way. You don't know if family are go glad to end the back of road. So people, remember to like, share, subscribe. You understand? And please remember, like up the video, people. The likes help with the algorithm. So please like up the video. You understand? Yeah. Big up on yourself. Stars ENT.